Guys, picking the right use case for a mobile robot is a key success factor for the whole project. And our experience shows that in many cases, our customers are really very confused about what is a good and what is a bad use case. And that's why we will dedicate 2 episodes to discuss this topic. Stay on board and tune in.
Automation Awakenings, your weekly dose of best practices for logistics automation.
Welcome back to another episode of Automation Awakenings. Together with me, as always, Oliver. Nice to have you back after a little break and our first guest session in the last episode.
Yeah, it was really amazing to have a guest here in the studio. We learned very exciting things. It was a nice adventure to learn how we can calculate automation investments better. But before we can calculate investments, we need to pick the right use case, right?
Exactly. And as I already mentioned in the intro, we will dedicate 2 episodes to this topic. So today's episode will be all about the really good use cases. And in the next one, we're going to face on the ones you might keep for another time in the future.
Yeah, and let's see which of these episodes will be longer. The one with the working use cases or the one which you should not do. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm curious. And I think it's a good idea to go step by step through the different mobile robot categories so that we make sure we do not miss any good use cases. And then in the second episode, we're going to do the same for the bad use cases.
Sounds good.
All right, then let's start. Olli, it's going to be more towards your knowledge, more towards your, I would say, special skills here. What is the most used mobile robots category, and what is the most successful use case in this category?
Yeah, for sure, it's all about forklifts,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when we are talking about AGV forklifts, we have to separate this category into two subcategories.
Mm-hmm.
I will also explain why. So let's start with the small and light version of the forklift AGV. It lifts up to 1 ton, 1 meter high.
Mm-hmm.
The dimensions of the forklift are, you can imagine, they are like big as a pallet. Yeah, you don't need any further, hardware or so. It fits all to the dimensions of a pallet, which makes them very nicely, fittable into your environment. And the second category are the heavy guys.
Okay.
Yeah, the bigger forklifts,
The Sumos.
the Sumos, which lift more, usually 1.5 ton. There are some versions with 2 ton and up to 6 meters height even. But they are already really big. You can imagine
Yeah.
them like also the old school devices, which we know very well from our warehouses. And this is not usually what our customers like. But if they would like to lift higher than 1 meter, or their pallets are heavier than 1 ton, you need to go for the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
these are the two categories to start it.
Okay, just to clarify real quick, you said the big guys, they look like the ones we have in our warehouses. Can you just quickly elaborate on that a little bit? So,
Yeah, well, they actually even have still a seat for a manual driver often.
okay.
Yeah, and they're like really huge. You need to think about if they can run in your space. Yeah.
Understood. So you have to consider whether your aisles, your layout is suitable to deploy such a huge device. Okay,
Yes.
understood. Good. So forklifts is the most common category. Now, what is the most common use case in this category?
Yeah, let's start with the small ones. The top one category over all times is the floor-to-floor use case. You transport a pallet which is on the floor and you bring it to another position and you leave it on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, very simple. A little bit more advanced, but still nice and easy. Pick it up from a conveyor belt and bring it to a conveyor belt. Or, of course, the combination conveyor and a floor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Okay. When we talk about pallets now, I mean, from my own experience back in the day in the plant, I know there is a bunch of different types of pallets, right? There is the Euro pallet, a wooden pallet basically. There is a US pallet that is also wooden in most of the cases, but has different dimensions. Then there are plastic pallets, for example, provided by empties management companies like CHEP, these blue CHEP pallets. You have gray pallets by VW, one of the biggest OEMs here in Germany, and so on and so forth. Anything you can specify even more when we talk about this successful no-brainer use case?
Yeah, of course, you need standard pallets. But the topic is, first of all, you need the right dimensions. As long as you stick to the Euro or US norm of pallets, everything is fine.
Okay.
There's rather the question, is your pallet open or closed? And I mean, the where your forks enter,
Yeah.
is it below? Is it like, is there the floor or is there another layer of wood or plastic?
Okay, like a additional frame, basically, right? That touches the ground. Yeah, I see it in front of my inner eye.
Yeah, because this
Okay.
changes, of course, the requirements towards your AGV. And if your pallets are closed, the forks need to be free.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have something below, of course, otherwise you even cannot drive into the pallet. So you have to consider that.
Yeah. So that means that for the closed pallet, you are not able to use a mobile robot forklift that has a scissor lift, right? Where the fork is basically moved up by a scissor construction, I would say. So you really need a free fork that is able to enter this special type of pallet.
Yes, that's correct. And the scissor lift comes also with another downside. Imagine your conveyor belt.
Yeah.
You need to understand if you can approach it if there is something below the fork. Usually you cannot because the conveyor is on a certain structure, right?
Yeah.
There are some special, let's say, ending points of conveyor belts which are open below the conveyor, but this is really special. I doubt that many customers have this at home, yeah, in their warehouse. So usually it's a closed structure, and you cannot use any scissor lift anymore.
Okay. Understood. Good. So I think this is the use case, the most common
Yes.
and most, I would say, successful use case for the small forklift mobile robot category.
Yeah, you see, all the questions we answered now are basically everything you need to consider if you would like to transport a pallet with these smaller forklifts. 1 ton, 1 meter, floor, conveyor. And just think about some details we just spoke about, but that's it.
Okay, check.
Check, yeah.
How about the Sumos?
Yeah, the Sumos, it's getting more complex, especially when we are talking about heights.
Okay.
If you would like to use this Sumo for your high rack, up to 6 meters. If you go higher, that will be another category. But let's stick with that. You need to check your pallets more carefully because these Sumos require more or less the perfect pallet. No strapping around, no foil or let's say strange things. It's not allowed that the pallet is somehow damaged. It must be really perfect. In the smaller category, of course, this might be an issue as well, but for the Sumos, they will immediately stop.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need to check how many different types of pallets you have. This might be also a pain for them if you would like to transport many different kind of pallets. US, Euro, plastic, wooden, closed, open, because you have to teach them basically every single pallet type,
Okay.
and then think about putting this pallet into the high rack, and then some time later picking it up again. The device needs to know how to pick it up, because for every pallet it's a little bit different.
Okay.
That's tricky.
Yeah. Okay. But per se, it's possible to run it with different pallet types. You're just saying that the training or the onboarding or integration, I should say, of this device is more complex in such a scenario.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I would say this use case is possible, but with some open questions, and it depends on your environment.
Okay. Good. Shall we move on?
Yes, I think we are already in the warehouse
Mm-hmm.
and already touched the topic higher than 6 meters.
Yeah.
So let's go for our biggest colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
the reach truck AGVs.
Okay.
Mm,
Must
Also,
be the elephants now.
the
right?
elephants, yeah, right. They
Okay.
are real elephants. They actually look completely similar to old school reach trucks. They have a seat, they have a joystick,
Okay.
sometimes even a steering wheel,
Yeah.
and you already see why is that so? Because sometimes you still would like to use it as a standard reach truck,
Okay.
because, and this is actually the truth, there are situations where they stuck, where somehow the sensors don't get if the pallet is there or not, or there is some error, and then you need to solve it manually. And this is because it's a very complex use case. We are talking about heights of 10, 11, sometimes even 12 meters. And this is also for the human already a big challenge.
Of
Now,
course.
imagine our robot colleagues there. You have your forks 12 meters in height, and everything is moving. It's not like very fixed. And you have 1 ton on your fork, and then you have to leave this ton very precisely in the high rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear that this is a challenge, but still, this use case is working if you have very standardized pallets,
Okay.
and you really need here, I would say, the perfect pallet. Nothing, can be out of standard. That's you have to make sure, and sometimes people use it by putting your own pallet on a standard pallet. Always,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Understood.
That's a solution, of course. You have an additional handling step,
Yeah.
but only then you can make sure that your pallet is right.
When you talk about the perfect pallet, can you describe it a bit better?
Yeah, a perfect pallet is always according to its specification.
Okay.
To explain it in one sentence.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect explanation. Now let's apply it to an example. So let's take the EU pallet, the classic wooden EU pallet. Would it be a perfect pallet, or do you rather tend towards plastic pallets because they keep the shape better, or they don't get dirty so quick? I don't know.
Yeah, the Euro pallet is perfect on the first day when it comes from the manufacturer.
Okay.
And then, it has also a life. Yeah, and during this,
Obviously, quite
during
tough life actually.
a Euro pallet has a tough life, and during this tough life, uh, things can happen, and
Okay.
you see it on the pallet what happened
Yeah.
to this poor guy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's easy to get it out of spec.
Okay, understood.
Of course, the plastic pallet is way better.
Way better. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Understood. So, we had the skinny guys, we had the sumos, the elephants. Let's look towards the dwarfs maybe.
The dwarves, yeah, well, we were transporting pallets all the time.
Yeah.
Enough pallets.
Yeah.
Let's go for boxes.
Okay. What kind of boxes are we talking about, Ollie?
Yeah, we are talking about standardized automotive boxes, for example, the so-called KLTs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, many logistics guys in the automotive industry love them,
Yeah.
and anything similar to that.
Okay.
Basically, you can transport any kind of box. You can buy this box from IKEA, will be
Yeah.
fine as well,
Okay.
as long as it has the similar size of a KLT or automotive box. Yeah.
So the name of the box would be something like Ordner or Kesha or
Holström,
Fridtjof.
all of them.
All of them. Okay.
Yes, sure. Because we are talking about box AGVs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fine.
box AGVs are basically an underrider,
Mm-hmm.
and usually they have a little conveyor belt on top,
Okay.
on their head, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can transport and everything what can be transported on this small conveyor belt, and they can stop at another conveyor and
Yeah. Hand over.
hand over the full box and like swap it with a empty one, for example. Sometimes there are two conveyor belts on the head of this underrider,
Oh, okay.
and this is very modular. Yeah, you can make it smaller, bigger, depending on your boxes.
Okay.
I would say also easy use cases.
Okay. But this is always pretty much just one box which is transported, right?
Always one, maximum two boxes.
Okay.
Or if they are very small, maybe four.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But that's it.
That's it. A box, the weight is probably up to 25 kilograms.
Okay.
Usually everything what is higher has to be checked.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you are below 25 kilograms, it's a standard use case. Just go, buy it, and implement it. Easy.
Would carton work?
Yes. Also, carton boxes count. So not only IKEA.
Okay.
You can use any type of carton box. If, of course, it needs to somehow stay in shape. Yeah.
Okay.
Damaged carton boxes will not work. But new boxes coming from a supplier with components, for example, is not a problem for them.
Or shoe boxes.
Also, shoe boxes will work. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They usually stay in shape because at the
Yeah,
end,
they have a
the
lid.
end customer would like to have a nice shoe box, right?
Sure. Sure. Okay. So that's the boxes. So as a conclusion, you would say box transports are also
Easy.
no-brainer, go for it use case.
Exactly.
Okay. Good. Next one.
Yeah, when we are talking about boxes, maybe you would like to transport more than only one or two or four.
Yeah.
And we have solutions where you can even put 8, 16 boxes there. It's like a backpack of boxes. I would count them as we are here on the threshold between special machinery and standard AGV, I would say.
Okay.
So the use cases work, even for shoe boxes, by the way. But still, I'm sometimes doubting if they make a use case
Yeah.
because they are still pretty expensive. and maybe not as fast as you would expect.
Okay.
For sure, they are much slower than a human.
Okay. So something you would probably go for in a high cost location only.
Yes, that's for sure. They are way too expensive for other locations.
Okay. Okay. So edge use case.
Yeah, let's count them as edge.
Okay. Good. What's next?
Well, I mentioned the underrider with the conveyor belt, but of course you can you can do other things with an underrider.
Correct.
You can transport a full pallet with it, for example.
But that wouldn't be floor to floor. You would need a podest, right? Or some kind of structure which is holding the pallet so that the underrider can go under it and lift it then, right?
Yes, we are talking about pallet stations, which they need to be, of course, at least as high as the underrider itself. So the underrider goes below the pallet,
Yeah.
lifts it, picks it up, and leaves it then again at another station.
Yeah.
So you need to implement the stations everywhere you need them. And you here the good news are they are very strong. Yeah. So their underrider, the standard ones go up to 1 ton, 1.5, but there are even solutions for 3 to 6 tons or special machinery which go up to 25 tons or so.
Okay.
Yeah, really strong guys. But these are, again, difficult use cases. But as long as you are staying below the 1.5 ton threshold, I would count it as very easy.
Okay. Of course, pallets is an option, and then all other kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Most people probably know these underwriters from videos from Alibaba or Amazon warehouses, where you have those shelves where the articles are sitting in, being transported by these little underwriters to the picking station and then back into some kind of storage part of the building.
That looks pretty cool, right? Because you see a lot of them moving around.
Yeah.
And yeah, because these articles are not so heavy and small.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's a perfect solution for the Alibabas and Amazons.
Yeah. So certainly going strong here, the underwriter category. Otherwise, what I also saw a lot is basically hooking something and pulling it, right?
Oh my God, Matthias, that's something for the next episode.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, please don't forget it.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep it in the back of my head. But what certainly works is driving under carts. So all type of different carts, and basically again lifting them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I like underrider so much, because they're very flexible. Yeah, you can underwrite carts as long as they are high enough. Always the same story.
Yeah.
But if they are, you can underwrite a whole cart and transport it.
What is the average height of a cart or of a device or construction to be able to be underridden?
Well, the lowest underrider start with 12.5 centimeters.
Okay.
But they can only lift 450 kilograms.
Okay. And the regular underwriters, where do they?
Yeah, they start at about 22 centimeters, 25. There are even devices with 35 centimeters height.
Okay.
That's already pretty high for a cart.
Yeah.
Carts, there are all kinds of carts. Some of them start with 15 centimeters. Then we have everything, 20, 25. So you see, sometimes they do not match with the underrider.
Yeah.
So check your carts you have on your shop floor if they can be underridden. Yeah. Otherwise, you need to adapt, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you there is no underrider lower than 12.5 centimeters on the market at the moment. and then think about the 450 kilograms, which might be an
Mm.
issue.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Good. Anything else for the underwriters, or can we move to the next category?
We can move.
So next one would be outdoor AGVs. We just recently had an episode on that, right? How do you see it, Oli? Is that a no-go, like a no-brainer, or a no-go?
No. It's for sure a brainer. It's
Okay.
complex, and honestly, I would touch it also in our next episode.
Okay.
Not because it's a no-go area. I'm really excited about outdoor AGVs, as you know, but I think they unfortunately still rather fit into the it depends or rather no use cases.
Understood.
Yes.
Good. What else do we have? We have mobile manipulators, something brand new, right?
Yes, I would say brand new on the logistics side, because these are cobots, so robotic arms sitting on an underwriter. Again, it shows how flexible underwriters are. You can even put an arm on top of this underwriter, and then the arm could manipulate something.
Okay.
That's why they're also called mobile manipulator.
Yeah.
Because they are running around with this arm and doing something. They might
Makes
pick
sense.
goods, they might pick boxes. This is for sure something for the next episode. It's not an easy one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actually Champions League.
All right. The question is group phase or final, but we're gonna talk about this in the next episode.
Yes.
Okay. Do we still have something?
Well, I think these were the top use cases which you can implement just like they are now with devices which are available on the market.
So little to medium effort to realize it.
Yes.
Probably also good return on invest, because this is standard machinery, standard vehicles that you can buy. So something you guys should really take a look into if you think about automating your logistics. And for all the other cases, you should take it easy and maybe wait another months or years. We're going to talk about this in the next episode. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to see you again, to meet you again, and to talk about all of these really exciting but complicated use cases that we should wait for.
You only have to wait one more week for this next episode, and then you are safe in selecting the right use case.
Word. With this being said, guys, thanks for joining. Have a great rest of the day, and hear you next week for another really interesting episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This was another episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. Visit us at automation-awakenings.com